Welcome to Judica County. My name's Josh Whitaker. I'm your host today. I'm here with Joe Hamer, partner at the law firm of McCullers, Whitaker & Hamer, and we're here today to talk about a very specific issue. If you're watching this podcast, we might have sent you the link to it because we're going to talk about what happens when you are a seller, you're selling property. Our title search for our buyer has discovered you've got an uncanceled deed of trust. You have an old mortgage lien that was never canceled earlier, and now you got to figure out how to get it taken care of.
So yeah, this is going to be for a very specific, unfortunate few people that this is going to apply to, but it actually happens more commonly than you would think. I think you can kind of subdivide this into two categories. You've either got a situation where you yourself have taken out a mortgage on a property, you've refinanced since, and whenever you did that refinance or whatever it was, that original lien was never canceled, which again, it happens more frequently.
We're assuming it was paid off.
Exactly.
Right.
So that's the assumption that it was paid off. Now, there could be another podcast about bad faith actors, and there's been situations where that didn't happen. But again, I think that's kind of its own thing. But this just assumes that it was paid off, but it wasn't canceled because legally speaking, the fact that it was paid off, it helps, but it's got to be canceled as of record or else we as title searchers have to consider that it wasn't paid off.
Right, so all we can see searching the public record is you've got maybe your current mortgage and then like behind it you've got an old equity line, you've got an old first mortgage that was paid off, and for whatever reason the bank didn't cancel it. And as far as we can tell, that's a lien. So a lot of times we don't even know this is an issue until you've returned. We ask you as a seller, we're going to send you a questionnaire and ask for a bunch of information. Some of that information are the liens that you think need to be paid off, and so you'll of course report your current mortgage. We get that back, we get our title search back, and we see we're showing 3 liens, but you're only reporting that 1 lien needs to be paid off, so we know there's an issue. And I think most uncanceled deeds of trust, if they're somewhat recent, the bank is still around, that lender's still around, what's going to happen is we're going to go to you and say, look, you've got this problem, you need to fix it. And what you're going to do, your old bank doesn't, we don't know anything about your old lender. We don't have your, social. We don't know what your loan number was. We don't know when it was paid off. So we can't help you. And we represent the buyer also. But what you're going to have to do is you're going to have to contact that lending institution. And it's no fun and it's no picnic.
It's going to be bad. So it's a bad situation regardless. But I think there is a bad and then there's a worse of the two situations. So the bad is this is your lien. This is something that you've done. You've got all the information. You may have to do some digging, but you can find it. And again, it's going to be unfortunate. It's going to not be fun. But you should have it all somewhere. It's a lot more achievable. The worst situation is where you purchase this property and you've got an uncanceled deed of trust from 2 owners previous, which again is something that we see. And it's going to be regardless of whether you did a closing, you had an attorney represent you, you've got title insurance, whatever it may be, it's your issue at that point.
Yeah, not every, we're in North Carolina. North Carolina's an attorney state, so an attorney more than likely, hopefully, is the one that's doing your closing, is the one that's supposed to be doing your closing. And not all attorneys are the same, right? Not all doctors are the same. So you might have a good attorney that does a lot of the back end stuff they're supposed to. You might have an attorney that overlooks that from time to time. You can certainly go back to that attorney. If there was an attorney involved and they didn't get something canceled, we're going to point you back to them if they're still around.
Yeah, I think that's step one. So if you're in the situation where it is not your lien that is causing this problem, the first stop on your fix this tour is what attorney did your closing? Yeah. And then you put the burden on that attorney because it's that attorney's duty to you to have provided good title, which they didn't do. And feel free to exert all the pressure in the world because again, it's.
Now I will. We're kind of throwing people under the bus, and we get in the same situation. You have certain lenders that we can do everything in the world. We've paid them off. We've made 19 follow-up calls, and they haven't canceled the lien. But there's some things your closing attorney can do at that point. But once you get to us, we're going to point out the issue, and then it's your issue, and we'll try to give you some guidance. But again, if it is your lien, you're going to be the one that needs to go to that financial institution and try to figure it out.
We can't do the legwork for you.
If it's a lien from someone before you got title to the property, then you're going to need to talk to your closing attorney. Hopefully they're helpful. Some are, some aren't. But again, there ain't a whole lot we can do for you. And then I think the third scenario is when you've got an old and canceled lien. It's your lien. It was your mortgage. Maybe it was your mortgage in 1983, but that lender's gone out of business. The lender that bought that lender's gone out of business, and we're like 9 lenders removed. and I can help you kind of figure out who. Usually there's still somebody. Usually it's Bank of America. Somehow all these people became Bank of America. But you're gonna have to do some. It's gonna probably delay your closing, one, and two. You're gonna have to do some research. You're gonna have to talk to some people. We'll give you our title search. We'll give you all the information we can, but we can't do it for you. I will also add there are companies. I'm thinking about one in Virginia in specific, but there are companies that you can pay to help you with this legwork. It won't be us. We represent your buyer. We're just gonna wait, for it to get resolved. But there are companies that you can pay that help you track down lien releases and things like that. So I won't give you that information on this podcast, but we'll be glad to email you that company's name, assuming they're still in business whenever you happen to watch this. But
so yeah, in summary, sorry if you're having to watch this for your own personal use. The sooner the better. The sooner you can jump on these things and get the legwork going, the better, because it's going to take time. When you're dealing with bad lenders, which do exist, or bad mortgage servicers is probably the better word to use, you're dealing with people that are going to take multiple days at a time, up to 2-3 weeks at a time, to even respond to you. So you really need to jump on these things quick as soon as we let you know, and we'll always try to let you know as soon as we uncover a problem. But jump on them, stay on them, and hopefully we can work through it. Or you can work through it rather, and we can and get it resolved.
And like I said, we'll be glad to help you as much as we can, but our help will be extremely limited. And we'll give you some resources, give you some tips, mostly what we're giving here. We really don't have a lot more information to give you than what we've kind of just told you, unfortunately. But as with any title defect, as the seller, you've agreed to give marketable title to your buyer at closing, and you can't do that if this problem exists. Anyway, I hope that was helpful. See you next time.